Hi, G.
Hi, Mag.
Hi. I would love to introduce my lovely friend, G, who is living in London, who is an expert in Feng Shui and many other Chinese thought. So we met in London only a few months ago at the Mind Body's Soul experience, and I was fascinated with all of your work. And I'd love to invite you into, uh, talking with some of my friends about some of the work you do, and in particular, this winter solstice here, and what that means to us at this time of year for our health and for the year ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mag. Yuletide greetings to all. And, firstly, thank you for inviting me to share some of my experience of living with the seasons and in particular the winter solstice. And hopefully this is the first of our seasonal vlogs, inspiring people about their health transformation as nature intended. And so you're quite right, Mag. I mean, in my experience over the last 2 decades as a holistic health coach, or working within the health industry, what I've noticed is that most of us healthcare practitioners, in our endeavor to actually support and facilitate the well-being of others, we actually often neglect the most powerful prescription or resource available to us, which is nature's laws. And watching and observing how the seasons influence health and vitality. I mean, these things can be achieved and maintained when we actually adapt to the natural seasonal flow and the rhythms rather than working against it, or working against the grain, which often leads us to disconnection and disharmony in our mind, body, and emotion. So some of the things we're going to discuss are very simple to adapt in, whether you're living a chaotic lifestyle or trying to juggle work-life balance. These are things that are very practical in nature. So I'm just going to pull out some of my notes. So if I start by just introducing the equinoxes and the solstice, I mean, these in nature are key transformation points. It's this invisible exchange of energy, and as we know, nature, the energy is in the form of light, and these kind of key pivot points, equinoxes and solstices, tend to create a lot of chaos in our lives, but nature always does the best it can to provide us with the ingredients and the resources to protect our survival. So here we arrive in the depth of winter, and winter begins on the 21st or sometimes the 22nd of December, and this is the most yin phase in the life cycle of nature. We call it the beginning. Most of us may have noticed how nature's just become very quiet. It's the shortest day. And in fact, even our domesticated cats and dogs and children in particular will really pick up on this energy. They become quiet. Some of them really go off of dairy products. They don't want to eat, and this is quite normal and natural. The most important thing is that there's less light around us, and so the earth begins to rest. It's nature dims her light, inviting us to slow down as well, and to perhaps move within. So it's a time of introspection, but of course at this time of year we're so busy with Christmas and planning for Christmas, the opposite prevails, and we start to run on empty, with adrenal fatigue and exhaustion. So, I mean, all of these words that I'm using, they're actually metaphors that symbolize the quality of energy at play around us and what we need to do to actually make the best of this time of winter, and how we should approach it. I mean, I know with you, Mag, you've been in London for a fair few months. How have you noticed clients with sleep problems and tiredness at this time of year. How have you dealt with that?
Yes, well, yes, it's true. I have seen friends and clients um, talking about this time of year being a very busy, hectic time. A lot of people are under stress and pressure. There's so many things in our culture that actually force us to do what nature would do this time of year, which is the exact opposite of rest. And so, I always suggest just listening to your body, and and because of the light, having less light, we do tend to feel more tired, and on top of that, with Christmas and stress, um, we're drained. So, really, if you have the opportunity to take a nap in the middle of the day when your energy levels and cortisol levels are at their low, then please do so. 20 minutes will be fine. And some people, they can take it up to a full sleep cycle, 90 minutes, but no more than that. Um, but the point is when you is to get rest. When you feel tired, get rest, and also just try to absorb the beauty of this time of year. Maybe enjoy some candlelight. Reduce the amount of light coming from devices, and enjoy the winter time. Take time for yourself and get enough rest. Um, so there are many things we could talk about, how to do that, but just try to get in the nap and and when you're feeling tired, and slow down. And like you were mentioned about some of the exercises that you might suggest during this time of year, Tai Chi, Qigong, swimming, many more things that you can share with us. Yes.
Yeah, so those are great tips about sleep. Obviously, winter correlates in traditional Chinese medicine to the water element. And this is the key time to actually address things like adrenal exhaustion and adrenal fatigue. And if we miss this opportunity, we'll find ourselves struggling with health issues in the springtime, things like anger, frustration, aches in our joints. So really, first, we need to replete and service the water element within us so that the reservoir is full and ready to feed the growth and our get up and go in springtime. So, some of the things that I advocate at this time of year are things like you just mentioned, the activity, so slowing down. And sometimes that's not possible, but one of the things that we can do is really look at an alternative way of exercising. So rather than going to the gym and exhausting and taxing our adrenals more, perhaps it's better to look at things like Tai Chi, Qigong, Yin Yoga, even walking, but just make sure that we wrap up warm. And dance. Dance is a great way of replenishing the qi, the adrenal qi and the water element. Other things include, keeping warm. So in particular, keeping the kidney area and the feet warm. Now, I know that recently I've seen quite a lot online about earthing and walking barefoot. This is not the time to walk barefoot. It's really important to keep warm. And earthing can be achieved by just meditating. And also, if you want to, you can lie down, but on a warm surface. It's really important to make sure that you're warm. And obviously practice some sleeping exercises, yoga nidra perhaps, or corpse pose in yoga, which is the most difficult pose to master. And finally, one of the things that I'm passionate about is food. I love food, and this is a great time to really enjoy food. We're approaching Christmas in a few days' time and the return to light. So one of the one thing that I really would advocate is linseed tea. If there's one thing that you're going to include in your diet, then get yourself some flaxseed, organic flaxseed, and make some linseed tea. And there's plenty of recipes on my YouTube channel, 2020 Holistic Health, and one of them actually teaches you how to make linseed tea. But the omega-3 that linseed tea provides, along, you know, fish oils also have that same effect, so good source of oily fish at this time of year. And obviously anything that grows in the sea, so things like seaweed, just incorporate that into your soups and your casseroles. Again, this is not a time for detox or dieting. It's really important that we eat healthy and nutritious, satisfying meals, you know, rich with protein and grains, to be able to sustain us through the cold winter months. So those are my top tips, I think, to keeping healthy over the winter solstice.
Yes, thank you so much, Gee. I really appreciate your time together, and I would also ask if anyone is interested in finding out more about your work, to look up your work on your website you mentioned, and we'll place our websites down below this video, so that if we can help people, we are here. So again, thank you so much for this first of many other videos, um, talking about many health issues and the fascinating world of Feng Shui. So thank you again for your time, Gee.
Welcome, Mag. Thank you. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas and winter solstice.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Keep warm. Bye.